2 more chances to end this series, right? You're still up 3-2 in this series. It's not over by any means, by any stretch. We're not sitting here and saying that, but stylistically, Jeff, like I have to ask you, you obviously went to both those games in Nashville, and they're up 3-2 for a reason. Like they won hockey games, but it almost feels like at some points in this series, and when you look at it, the Canucks are just playing down to their opponent. The Canucks are playing like they haven't really shown their game. Okay, it's great in the last 2 minutes of a hockey game when you're up 6-on-5, and you mentioned JT Miller says you can't really carry that over because it's basically a power play. But how do you not generate that type of urgency when you're on the power play and have the man advantage when clearly you've already done it before?
I hate to come back to this, but it's not even the elephant in the room anymore. They had an 89-point player in the regular season who is capable of breaking games wide open, but I feel like they're playing with one hand tied behind their back in this series. And, a scoreless game into the third period was just begging for a game breaker, and you keep waiting, and this market's been remarkably patient, and we're 5 games into this thing now, and Elias Pettersson, again, there were moments, but I don't want to talk about moments. I want to talk about, big-time players coming through in the crunch, the way that Miller and Besser did in those 2 games in Nashville. And, Nikita Zadorov stepping up, and, he's doing his part. He's trying hard. He's making things happen, and it's just not there for Elias Pettersson. And so it's frustrating. And I understand the fans. We're seeing it in the inbox. I see it on social, all that kind of stuff. And this was another night, but we're 5 games into this series now.
Yeah, but Jeff, he hasn't been good for a month before the playoffs.
I get
that. His last 2 goals were what? Is it Arizona, who is a team
Buffalo.
that doesn't exist anymore?
Yeah.
And the Arizona Coyotes, right? Like there's 3 players in the top 6 who haven't scored in over a month. When you really go down and look at it. So
right.
We did see Lotto tonight.
Yep. We saw it early because he took the puck in the face, and then in the third period, I think they had at least one shift there, but it's not happening for them either.
Yeah.
And why isn't it happening? 2/3 of that line
not doing anything.
Making some things happen, but man, it is tough. It's tough to watch here and now, but it's also tough to wonder, like, is it going to get any better here? Like, even if they get through this round, it is fair to wonder, like, what is in store for Elias Pettersson?
I mean, he didn't even have any pop on that shot. I knew he had his spot, and you said it, but there wasn't the old Elias Pettersson
No, I agree
pop.
with you there.
There wasn't. It didn't come off his stick like an absolute rifle. Like it didn't. There wasn't much to it. It seemed like he wanted to finesse it and put it where he wanted and just missed it. But that shot did not look like how Elias Pettersson used to shoot the puck. So is there something wrong? I will never know. Probably at the end of the season, he's not going to make excuses for himself. That's just not who he is. So we can sit here and talk about it all we want. And I get it, Jeff. He is the game breaker that they so desperately need. But at some point, there's got to be someone else too.
This is Rink Vancouver on a night that the Canucks missed their opportunity to score goals and obviously missed an opportunity to eliminate the Nashville Predators. Rink is a presentation of the Applewood Auto Group, Ford, Nissan, Kia, Infiniti, Mitsubishi, Chevrolet. Start your search online. Like, that's the beauty of technology these days. You don't have to go walk the lot, or at least, you can find out a little bit about the inventory, new and pre-owned vehicles, applewood.ca. It's all good at Applewood. And the Predators feeling pretty good about things as they head home. And yeah, it'll be a raucous Friday night there. Still waiting a start time for game number 6 of this series. If there is a game 7, it'll go Sunday. So a quick turnaround there, but it's extra day of rest. If you're the Preds, you probably would like to get her going 48 hours from now and try and harness this momentum, but they will have to take the extra day. And it is important to remember that the Canucks are up 3-2 in this series. I mean, losses obviously are painful at any point in the playoffs, but this isn't all doom and gloom for the Vancouver Canucks. They still lead. The Predators still have to win 2 more games. And, I said earlier today that I see the Nashville team that rattled off a 16-0-2 stretch in the second half of the season. Could I see them winning 3 in a row based on the way the series has gone? Yeah.
Yep. Absolutely.
But can I see the Canucks losing 3 in a row? And that's where I have a problem because, look, they've been so good at nipping any kind of losing streak in the bud through the regular season. They had the 4-game losing streak out of the All-Star break where they kind of hit the wall and just didn't have it going on. But for the most part, Rick Tocchet and his structure and his staples have allowed the Canucks to respond and bounce back from a lot of losses. So let's see what happens. They're in the driver's seat, but it is funny. Momentum is a strange thing, certainly at this time of the year. And so we'll see what happens on Friday. Yes, the Predators are feeling good. They're still alive. They're going home. They probably think that they owe their fans one. But guess what? The Canucks have won 4 times in that building this year as well. So Maybe it's law of averages. Maybe that's absolutely something to build on if you're the Vancouver Canucks, that you're going to a place where you've had success. Even if you didn't play that well in games 3 and 4 in the series, you found ways to eke out victories. And so, they shouldn't be scared or afraid going into Nashville, but it's not going to be easy. It is rarely easy. And it's been a strange series on so many levels, that the road team has won 4 of 5, that opening the scoring here, the road team has opened the scoring in 4 of 5 as well. Sorry, my mouth is correct there. I just want to make sure that, the road team has won 4 of 5. In fact, the only time that the home team has won was game 1. And even then, it took the Canucks a while until they were able to turn that game in the third period. So, there's a lot of things that haven't made sense in this series, but sometimes that's playoff hockey.
You mentioned structure, and we talked about it so much about this structure and the identity of this team and what they can be, and the defensive part of their team. Like, is their identity, are they going to be a defensively well playing hockey team? Because in this series, they are playing well defensively. You give up the goal on the power play that wasn't even a shot. It kind of just trickled in. So for the most part, you are playing well. But because of that, I go back to my point in the beginning of the show, Jeff, is because you're so focused on playing so well in your own end, does it hurt some of the things you're doing offensively? Like, you're just not generating much. And when you do, you're either missing the net, it's getting blocked, you're not doing anything on the power play, and your stars aren't your stars. So because of that, I just think it's this whole defensive mindset. And maybe it's the way the Nashville Predators play. Maybe it's the style. We saw them crashing and banging Quinn Hughes very early on in this series and getting on that forecheck and doing things that the Canucks didn't like and maybe weren't prepared for. But this is a game of adjustments. And when you look at it, like, there's a lot that Rick Tocchet has to make here heading into Friday night's game.
Thanks for watching this video. For more great content from Canucks Army, check out Sakaris and Price, Rink Wide Vancouver, or our show, Canucks Conversation. We're your one-stop shop for interviews, breaking news, and a live Canucks postgame show hosted by Jeff Patterson.